As I always say, the barbershop is the center of everything in the community in Black America. So we start in Detroit, Michigan to figure out what the people are saying on the ground. Let's
Detroit, that's my spot, baby. That's where I'm at, Metro Detroit, but let's get it.
go. If the election were held today, who would win the election?
Kamala Harris.
I think it's a coin flip at this time. I really do.
I think the country is so divided, you wouldn't have numbers like you have if the country weren't divided between the two candidates.
Yeah,
it's pretty much 50-50.
I'm still in between myself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decisions have to be made. Me being an entrepreneur and a father and a grandfather, I'm looking at what state my children will be in 10 years from now.
At the end of the day, I'm Trump because my eyes open. I can see that he was doing a lot better than what we're going through right now. You can't even go to the grocery stores right now without making a life decision on what you want to get. You know, you got to compromise. We don't have to go through that 4 years ago.
You know, just be.
So let me guess. For the people that are Democrats and that are Trump deranged, I guess he's misinformed, right? I guess he's misinformed when he goes to the grocery store and he notices that things are more expensive, right? When someone says they're voting for Trump, they always want to say, well, what about their lifestyle? They're probably living this and that. Don't worry about how people are living. When they're telling you that they can't afford, certain things, I mean, they're telling you that. So what's the excuse for that guy? Because he's telling you the truth, stats and facts. Hey, man, things are more expensive than they used to be.
Being able to just live on a day-to-day basis, it has become a little harder at this point in time.
So he just said that too right after, right? It's a common theme. It's a common thing that's going on in this world where people are like, things are way more expensive. What the hell has happened here?
It's really hard to put our economic condition now on any particular administration.
Yes, it is. Policies matter. And this is what I've been telling people that want to talk to me about Trump and all this. Policies matter. And policies they can inflate what's going on here. They cause more problems. So it is important to vote based on policy.
In regards to the economy, I do think that Trump have some benefits as far as keeping our jobs right here. Right here in this country, not sending another job overseas. We're already going through enough crisis right here in our country. And I think the working class, we need more job security right.
Bro, that man cut is crispy. That man got a clean cut right there, bro.
Here in this country.
Who thinks immigration-wise, Kamala Harris is better?
I don't have enough information about that question.
That's fair.
No, you're not going to get any information on her when it comes to the border unless it's decriminalizing the border, unless it's removing all of Trump's 90-something pages of tightening the border, and unless you want to know that there's been over 15 million migrants that have already entered the country because of her, there's not much information you're going to find on her.
Who thinks Donald Trump would be better for the border?
Let's face it.
Everybody.
Individuals are coming into our country, not just illegal, but they're criminals.
So this guy right here is actually Chief James Craig. He used to be the chief of Detroit, right? Chief James Craig. I got him up right here. So he used to work on the police force.
Coming into our country, not just illegal, but they're criminals.
The third issue is crime. Who do y'all feel like is the best candidate to handle crime in America?
Kamala Harris absolutely would be the best.
How?
We have forgotten. The memory is so short right now. Was it not Vice President Harris who supported what? Defund the police?
Boom. Boom. Just like that lady from Why Did I Get Married? Boom. Gotcha. This is a guy who worked on the police force who's saying, this is the lady that says defund the police. Did y'all forget? Well, y'all want to talk about who's better on crime? She's not. Look at her record.
Did not Vice President Harris who supported what? Defund the police?
More black men voted for Donald Trump than any other Republican ever. So why is that? What is leading toward more support for him versus any other Republican?
My brother is a firm Donald Trump supporter.
There you go.
And some things that he always says to me is that some of his principles, as far as abortion, as far as same-sex marriage, as far as those things, those are a lot of the sticking points that draw a lot of our black men.
Sometimes us as brothers, black brothers, we feel like the other is better than we are. We would, to me, that's that slavery mentality, that master is better, and that we want to,
Well, hold on, Bishop. Are you saying?
He's a bishop too? Oh my gosh, bro. Oh boy.
Is better, and that we want to,
Well, hold on, Bishop. Are you saying that the brothers that
I come from a different generation?
I understand that. Are you saying that the brothers that subscribe to Donald Trump, that feel like he would be better, have a slave mentality?
Many of us do still have a slavery mentality. I'm voting for master.
The problem is black people, we vote emotionally. That's not smart. We need to vote. We need to educate ourselves first.
We got to stop this
Absolutely. Absolutely.
emotional, because that's what's wrong with the black race. We too emotional. We can't. I can't have a opinion without you being mad at me or something, or you upset when I said. We got to come together.
The president.
And you know what? To touch on something else that's super small, yeah, we are very emotional. When it comes to even spiritual, you can't have a disagreement or anything in that realm. And when it comes to politics, it's kind of one and the same. It's kind of, it's kind of one and the same. But we should be informed. And it's funny because even on a spiritual level, when you want to be more informed, they start thinking that you're asking too many questions or, backsliding and all this crazy stuff. But I think we should be logical. We should think about the problems, who's going to fix them, how they're going to do them. We're thinking logically. And so when my vote goes to Trump, it's because I'm seeing exactly what things were like in 2016 to what it is now. And I'm thinking and actually using my brain to find out who's the better person when I currently see who's in office and all of these problems lie with them. And they all want to vote. They all want to blame Trump for something that happened under their administration. I would never want to work beside anybody that even thought that way. If you can't take accountability, why would I want you in office? So logically, Trump makes sense in this particular situation. That's just the way it is.
Presidency is not a person. It's an institution to be protected. Okay, and I think we need to get back to that, understanding the position, understanding what the intended job is. Okay, it's not Kamala Harris, it's not Joe Biden, it's not Donald Trump, right?
You're hiring someone to be the commander in chief. Okay, also remember that's part of a duty. And they're going to take instructions from the commander in chief. You're also speaking, and you're also voting for someone that's going to speak on behalf of you, right? That's where your vote is going. And you want them to be able to handle issues domestically and also internationally. There's a lot of things that you're hiring that person for.
It's the United States of America.
And we might have been saying the same thing. It was just the way he started that off. All right.
That was great.
So, all right, cool. So that's what that was about. So shout out to Lawrence. I actually like Lawrence on Fox, man. I hope that he has a bright future. I think he brings a really, really good culture to Fox News, and being able to go into a barbershop should have been very easy for him. So as you've seen inside of there, you had some people that were rocking with Trump, right? And you got some people that are, you can tell the ones that are voting for Kamala Harris because they're kind of on the fence and they're not answering straight, direct questions. I can kind of tell. When anytime someone starts talking about the economy and things are more expensive, X, Y, and Z, they're telling you that Trump was better. Okay, when they're talking about the migration problem and they start saying that I don't like how the border is, they're talking about that Trump is the person. You notice how they weren't in there talking about women's rights. They weren't in there talking about women's rights, or I should say women's rights. They weren't in there talking about abortion. Okay. And this is where I think that Kamala Harris has made a huge misstep. Her entire campaign is based upon abortion. And you can't expect men like myself. That doesn't really affect me. That's not something that I'm voting for, right? Could it be a sub like issue? Sure, but it shouldn't be your main issue. And so when you got Trump, who's running on basically the economy, the border, stopping the wars, right, and all these other things, he's got an entire plan of things that he's running on. And Kamala Harris is running on what? But Trump bad guy, and abortion. It's just not, people are not being fooled by that. So what I seen from this particular clip was I seen a nice discussion amongst black men, right, who she's having problems with. And you notice that one person in there, which was Chief James Craig, James Craig, brought up the fact that she's not good with criminals and she was for defunding the police and all these things. And it was some things that he just wasn't settled with. Those things are not going to win her vote. And I like what the other guy said when he said, we need to stop voting emotionally. And if I can touch on this real quick.
Sensational.
I have seen so many black folks be so emotional about this election and even the last election. They're not thinking logically at all. They watch the news day in and day out. They don't actually pick up their phone or laptop to do a little bit of research on something. And they're emotionally invested into the Democratic Party. They believe the Democratic Party is the answer and they haven't done anything for us. And they have fallen into this Trump derangement syndrome to the point where if you say the word Trump in a room of black people, you can literally damn near erupt the room. Faces change. I've done it in my household. I've done it in my family events. And it turns into a complete explosion where it's like, oh, you like Donald Trump? I remember my uncle, shout out to my uncle, man. I love him. He had brought up a couple years ago that like, Donald Trump really ain't that bad. And I watched my whole family zero in on him and try to tell him how bad of a person Donald Trump was. And they were talking out of emotion. And my uncle was trying to say he's actually handling business, the economy, X, Y, and Z. And they could not get past their emotion. To anyone watching this, who's at whatever color, you have to understand that we are hiring someone to do something more than just their personality. We're not hiring them to see how their family does and how good they interact with their daughter and all this stuff. We're hiring someone to be commander-in-chief to represent us when it comes to tough issues domestically and internationally. You don't have to sleep with the person. You don't have to invite them over for family dinner. You just need someone who's going to run this country and give us some respect. That is it. I wish I could bring up this conversation in my barbershop, but I'm gonna stay quiet. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Lawrence for creating a great segment, and shout out to those guys out in the Detroit Barbershop, because it's what's really going on, right? So I'm gonna get up out of here. All right. Like I say, after every video, this is chess, not checkers. I'm gonna see y'all at work 2 times. I'm out of here.